In the achievement of economic growth and development, there are three basic types of capital available to any society or country: the natural capital, the human capital, and the social capital. Nigeria is blessed with an abundance of natural capital. The country has evolved from dependence on just agriculture to the overdependence on oil, and now the gradual and consistent diversification of the economy to capture gains from the other natural resources. She has also come to realize that countries are built on the industries of her citizens, and thus the need to invest in building of human capital. With knowledge being the new gold and the service sector being the highest maker of revenue globally, both the government and private individuals have increased investment towards the building of human capital. This isn't to say that enough effort has been put into this, but to point out that there is already a realization that an increase in this capital brings about positive effect on the economy. However, to achieve inclusive economic growth, we have to develop not just the natural capital and the human capital, but also put equal efforts in developing our social capital, especially the element of trust, which has received little to no attention in all our plans towards a better economy. If Nigeria was a branded product, would you patronize? This was the question I posed to youth on my social media network, and I got a lot of responses ranging from definitely not, I won't trust our quality, it is Nigeria we're talking about. The purpose of this question was to ascertain if the same level of trust given to brands can also be given to Nigeria. Can we just assume for a minute that the views of those few young Nigerians amounts to the view of majority of Nigerians and even foreigners? I cannot help but ask how this seemingly insignificant but prevalent mistrust existing in Nigeria affects our economic performance. All human transactions have an element of trust, and major economic activities include human transactions one way or the other. The concept of trust and its effect on economic performance have been studied by various economists. Studies carried out by Dr. Fukuyama, the American political scientist and economist, have shown that there is a direct correlation between the level of trust of a country and her economic expansion or success. The higher the level of collaboration, the higher the chances of inclusive economic development. Monthlutz in 2007 examined the effect of social capital in the form of generalized trust on the economic development of 39 African countries, and he discovered that there is a robust positive influence of social capital on income and economic development. Nigeria is often regarded as a low trust nation, as there is little or no public trust, and the level of private trust that exists between private individual is very low. The concept of trust might seem to be very abstract, but in reality, it affects the ease of doing business as it increases transactional cost. It affects investment in Nigeria, as Nigeria is seen as a high-risk nation. It also affects the performance of our knowledge workers globally, and it affects the implementation of policies and interactions and collaborations between individuals. My idea for redesigning the Nigerian economy is calling for an increased investment in social capital, as social capital is the glue that holds society together, and without which there can be no true economic growth or human well-being. The bulk of the work in building trust, especially public trust, lies in the hands of the government. To build public trust, I recommend a trust blueprint based on the tripod of realization, open government, and building strong institutions. The first stage of realization involves carrying out in-depth analysis, research, and data gathering in order to have an informed insight on the exact correlation between trust and economic performance. This insight is germane as it guides any further action or implementation plan. Secondly, to build trust, I recommend the adoption of open government based on the principles of transparency, integrity, accountability, and stakeholder participation. At the center of governance are humans, and for the relationship between the governed and the government to flourish, there has to be communication. People want to communicate, and they want to be communicated to in return. They want to be carried along, and they want to participate beyond the ballot boxes. When people feel like they are part of the government, they react differently. Also, to consolidate these two efforts, the institutions of government have to be strengthened. A truly independent judiciary, a forward thinking legislature, and a proactive executive constitute an icing on the trust already built by an open government. Trust is built by what we say and also what we do. It is time to have a different approach in solving the problems affecting the Nigerian economy. Let's take the first step by investing in trust.